Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode for the Coaching Conversations podcast. Now, we are on Stitcher, we are on iTunes, and multiple different channels. Please check us out. Now, one of the things that you'll get out of our podcast episodes is a lot of content, a lot of strategy. It's not fluff, it's not concept, yet we really want you to engage with the content and let us know your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If there's topics you'd love to have us address, we would love to share them with you. Let us know your impact and let us know your feedback. You know, for 30 years, we've been teaching people how to coach. And often when I'm in front of clients, people will say, geez, how did you come up with that solution so quickly? You know, I go back to a couple fundamental attributes of being a great leadership coach. Now, I'm not self-anointing myself a great leadership coach because I work with a coach, I work with an EQ coach, I work with a mentor. We're always improving as coaches. Hopefully, we're always improving as leadership coaches. And I think about the concept of coaching application. What we have to realize is coaching application is a piece of clay. See, often I'll get questions like, well, what do you do when somebody is really resistant and you try to give them feedback and they push back? And what they ask for is the solution. There isn't a solution. There's a framework. There's a model because you don't control the person's reaction. So a lot of times we look for that fix, that solution, that what's the strategy that will be guaranteed to work. It doesn't work like that. Coaching application is understanding a coaching framework. It's understanding the choices that you have. That can be different conversation pieces, different questions, different thoughts, different statements, different ways to deliver mentoring thoughts, perspectives. Then you have to think about the person's reaction. So if you have someone who's highly resistant versus someone who's really open, your approach is going to be different. Now, you might have someone who's highly open having a bad day. They might inadvertently demonstrate some resistance. Coaching application is about applying coaching principles to situations, but understanding that one solution is not, and usually is not, foolproof every single time. So coaching application is taking our understanding of the model of coaching, whatever you've been taught. So let me share this with you. We teach something here at Progress Coaching called QALMS. That is our coaching model, QALMS. Questions drive self-awareness. Activities drive change. Learning projects build accountability. M, the motivator, is the career coaching. What's in it for them? We call it the WIFT. And then S is supplemental coaching. Let me give you an example. Recently, which is a really fundamental example, by the way, when I think about somebody who's resistant, and then you talk to them and say, well, where do you want to take your career? And they say, well, I want to be a first-time manager. Now, when I say that you want to be a first-time manager, and I think about someone, that's a point of leverage. Not that you're manipulating or leveraging the person, yet that's a specific leverage point you can bring into the conversation. So if I sit down with Bob and say, you know, Bob, I think about you engaging with your teams openly and thoughtfully and professionally. Now, what I'm doing is I'm giving a picture of the opposite behavior he's demonstrating, which is resistant and maybe opinionated. And then I bring in the motivator. So I say, well, Bob, I think about you, really engaging with your teammates, being proactive, thoughtful, and how that might help you become that first-time manager that you brought up. What's going through your mind, and how do you think you could successfully do that? What did I just demonstrate? I led with thoughts. I brought in his motivator. I used questions that build self-awareness, and I use a questioning format called a self-actualized question, such as, what are you going to do to successfully? So the key to this is to really understand that we have to understand a model so we can understand our choices to provide coaching application. So when I get in front of a group of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people and people are throwing questions at me, I love it. And people will, I'll say it, hopefully humbly, that people say, oh, wow, that's really impressive. All I'm doing all I'm doing is I'm going through a coaching application process. So when somebody says, well, I'm coaching a guy who's really resistant, like Bob, our hypothetical employee, and says, I don't have a lot of time, I'll go to supplemental coaching, which are prescriptive coaching strategies that don't take a lot of time. So first, understand a coaching model. Number 2, practice, practice, practice. It's not memory, it's practice of application. We call it thinking on a dime. One of the things I love to do more than anything in the world. One of the things I absolutely love is to be in front of a group of people and be put on the spot. Not to show off, but to demonstrate. All I'm doing is grabbing components, attributes from my coaching model that I teach. That's it. Make sure you have a model. Number 2, make sure you practice. And then number 3, practice. Actually start to use this when you're coaching your people. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.